We've got a pretty incredible story coming up, and I'm excited that they're here to share it. Another CF family, Malea and Ricky Tribble. Come on up. They've been mentors in the crossing community, multiple-year crossing crusaders, and you're about to hear one of the more unique experiences that has come out of the crossing over the years, and I'm really excited that they're going to share it. Here you go. Check, 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 check. You might have to talk to that. Maybe I don't need it. Okay. That works.
Hi, everybody.
All right, hi. So we are here to tell you a little story about a shark. So let's take a look. I think we have the video. Maybe, yeah.
Malea, come to the side.
You're doing good.
Yes.
Hard to tell.
Keep coming. Keep coming.
Yes, that is us, and that did happen. So that was not this past year, but the year before. So 2023, that was our unique experience. We have been a part of, we paddled twice as a relay team, and that was our second go at it, and it was quite unique. So we're gonna just start real quick about a couple of the questions we get asked the most. First being, did you feel it? Were you scared, right? So that directed to me. And the answer is no, because I had no idea exactly what was happening, right? I knew to listen to my team. I kind of was taking their cues, but I didn't know where the shark was. I knew it was a shark because my husband was really serious, and I don't really listen to him all the time. This time I absolutely did, because it was a thing. So. But I didn't know where it was. I did feel it twice, but when you're out there, we were 40 miles in, and it's one of those things when you're there, you start to think you see things or feel things, and so you kind of chalk it up to like seaweed. I felt like it was probably seaweed or something, but it tapped like this just right under my board twice. And then I got this, the one thing I do remember is getting like a really weird feeling. And it was more of like the feeling that you get when you think someone's watching you, So it was just eerie. And that's really the only way to describe it. And then, you see the reaction of my team, and I'm like, okay, something's happening, and it's behind me. Never did I think it was underneath me. Like, I absolutely thought it was like 10 feet behind me. So, kind of a unique experience there. Was I scared then? No, because for that reason. But I think I was more scared in the aftermath, because when you get home and you see it over and over and over, it kind of comes to terms with like what you actually experienced, and it was quite eventful. So that was how I felt. And then obviously from the cruise side, you're the one who saw it. So how did you feel?
Yeah, Malea and I kind of switch off during our crossing, and this opportunity happened when obviously she was on the water. So I just happened to see a fin behind the board, and I thought it was a dolphin at first, as many of you have experienced that on the crossing. They kind of come up and then disappear. Well, that fin did not disappear, and it was just swimming behind her board, stayed upright the whole time, and I think my face dropped. I turned to our captain and said, "Is that a shark?" And luckily, he's actually a police officer, so he was more calm than I was. But we basically told Malea to paddle back to the boat. We put the boat in neutral. I think instinctively, your brain, what were we, 40 miles into the paddles? We were probably pretty tired at that point. I think our brain was like, just get her back to the boat, and you can safely go to that safety talk that we have 10 times before getting on the water. Everyone knows to be safe out there, right? But yeah, I was definitely very scared in the moment. Excuse me. But I know when we register for the crossing, you fill out as a paddler beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And I would say we're probably intermediate paddlers at best. but Malea that day was a champion paddler, so kudos to you. Super proud of the way you handled it. And yeah, in the moment, Malea is absolutely right. She never listens to me typically, but in that moment, she definitely saw my eyes and just paddled right back to the boat perfectly. She was balancing, didn't even look back. She didn't lose her composure, and super proud of you for what you did that day.
Yeah, thank you. And then I would say like the third question that we always get asked is, what happened to Gabe? I mean, where is he? Is he good? Yes. Gabe is good. Gabe survived. He actually didn't have the same experience with the shark. He really didn't see it until kind of at the end there. But online, everyone thinks that, we just let him go out into the ocean and didn't really care. But we love Gabe, and he's a part of our team, a part of our story. So I'm here to tell you that he is safe and good to go. So, but let's talk about like the aftermath, right? You'll see a few things on the screen behind us, and we'll kind of talk through them a little bit. But the aftermath, I think, was significantly harder than the actual encounter, and for many reasons. It was one of those things that you just don't think that's going to happen to you, and you don't really know how to handle that kind of pressure, fame, whatever you want to call it. And it took immediate action, and I was getting called all the time. And so when you look at like the actual stats, we're talking today, it's about 14 million views on TikTok. It's 11.9 million views on Instagram, 5.6 million views on Facebook. And when you talk about the traditional media, we were featured obviously locally, nationally, internationally. I mean, you're seeing headlines everywhere. There was about almost 500 stories printed about us. Kat's mom was very helpful in that scenario. She helped us along. 509 million viewers just from traditional media, which you don't plan for in this scenario when something like this goes viral. And I probably did, upwards of 30 to 40 interviews. Like it was nonstop. So we get home from this experience. I mean, we tell Travis, we're like, yeah, something crazy happened to us, but we kind of downplayed it. We didn't really go in. We kind of just let it be for a minute. But before we realized it, like we knew the story was going to take off, so we figured we got to get our hands around it. We got to make sure we do this smart, and that was probably I would say the hardest part, because we took it upon ourselves to make sure. yeah, thanks. We took a lot of pressure because as a CF family, to us it's so important to, oh my goodness, we have a guest actually making their way here. So a story goes viral, right? You can't control that. And what I would say is no one prepares you for that at all. Like, not even a little bit. And we, along with viral fame, comes a lot of negative, too. I had a lot of people message me and tell me all these horrible things, saying things like, well, I hope you fall in. I hope you get eaten. You should have gotten eaten. And it's one of those things that you're like, what? Who are these people? But when you hear it and read it hundreds of times, it's really, it gets to you. It was tough. When I say it was easy, it wasn't at all. I thought I could just do some of these interviews, make it a thing, and move on. But it was really tough. And I wanted so badly to keep control of the story, because at the end of the day, like, we are a CF family. So it always comes back to the cause for us. And we take a huge, I'm going to say an obligation, but it's actually more protection. I'm so protective of this organization and of everybody, specifically all of you in the audience, a lot of you fellow paddlers and crew and captains. Like, it was our obligation to make sure that people weren't scared of the crossing or they wanted to come back and they wanted to participate. And I was so afraid that we would cause any kind of negative mention, and that was hard too. So you have, us coming back, and we really didn't give ourselves a lot of time to digest it before we were thrown into the media storm, thrown into a social media storm also, and then taking on that pressure. And no one put that on us but ourselves, but because we love this community, and it was really important that we kept that. So all that to say, I think the best things that came out of it was the community and the CF families. I mean, we had probably, at least 10 families that reached out to us that were CF, families that said, you were brave, and we want to know you, and we want to participate, or we want to support. And so even though there was a lot of hate and there was a lot of that stuff that you had to deal with, it all made it all worth it when you kind of talk to people who are living, with CF and their families. And I think that's where we take it to this day. And how cool is it to be, we're part of a mascot here. Like, this is happy, right? We're so grateful it was a happy experience.
Photo op.
But yeah, no, we're so grateful that it worked out in a positive way. We're grateful that it was a very curious, happy hammerhead shark, right? We're grateful for all of that. But we're also grateful that we are now even more so ingrained with this organization and this life. And this is our story. This is forever our story. We are always going to be a Google search. You can see all of the different stats and Google my name, and it's out there. It's crazy. And it was really tough to prepare for that. But at the end of the day, looking at it now, we've kind of, been able to grasp it, and I think we're in a good place. And it still goes viral all the time. If you hear anything about a shark in the news, you can be sure that I'm getting direct messages at that moment. So anyways, that's our story. So thank you for letting us share it.